Hi friends, welcome back, and today we're gonna show you what I've been thinking about. My fantasy kitchen has been going off about this build ever since I saw Gore Quills in general, and I've been freaking out, and I finally got it in action, and it works, and I'll tell you, it works so well, and it's so fun to play. And I'm so excited that there's a Bloodlands build that not only slaps PvE content, you absolutely wipe waves so fast without overpower, okay? Overpower does not matter in this build. And it functions very similarly to what is strong in the meta currently. And it takes all of those things and applies them to a Bloodlands build that is, oh my god, so fun. Let's get into it right now. Friends, without further ado, I've been theory crafting this for a few days now, and I'm really excited that I've actually gotten to try it, and we'll have some footage running down below as well to show you this shit rips. It's super fun. First, let's start off. Aspect of the Embalmer. Now, this is almost must take. I think that this is the Blood Orb way. It just works so well, especially with Sacrilegious, which we are taking. The stats: max armor, total life, cooldown reduction, lucky hit when you have barrier. Again, you're looking here, you're taking Temerity. Temerity, I think, works so well with this build. I don't think it's dog shit. What, like 90% of other builds, Temerity is mid. I think this build is the one that actually brings it to the forefront, makes it good. So, lucky hit chance when you have barrier, you can probably get up to 50% lucky hit chance with this build, and that's just going to reduce cooldowns by insane amounts with the Crepify, and all of it synergizes so well. It's so beautiful when it comes together. Anyways, Blood Artisan's Curse, you want to get this as low as possible for Blood Orbs. The rest of the stats don't really matter, but this build needs Blood Artisan's Curse. It needs it. The way I have it set up, it's based around crit, it's based around bone, it's based around bone spirits, it's based around getting bigger crits with your Bloodlance and being able to fire off 20 Bloodlances in a very, very fast manner. So make sure you're getting Blood Artisan's Curse, because you're then, if you have a perfect roll, 5 Blood Orbs, free Bone Spirit, you are doing crazy explosion damage, boss murdering. It's wonderful. Anyways, title aspect: lucky hit chance to restore primary resource, crit strike chance, and you do take ranks of Bloodlance here. This is a guaranteed. You are not going that much into overpower. So, without focusing on overpower, you can actually boost up the ranks of Bloodlance and do maximum damage with that. Temerity, I think, is also a near must take. If you are not taking Temerity, you would take Disobedience in this slot. Max life, total armor, damage reduction, and dodge chance if you're taking Disobedience in the leg slot. Or you can take Aspect of the Protector, which is the Dome Shield, I think, or the one that gives barrier. Wind Strikers. I think that this is insane because you are critting constantly. So Wind Striker can be really, really sick for this build. Essence cost reduction, movement speed, ranks of Bone Spirit, must. Dodge chance. Hungry Blood. One of the things that this build is doing also is that it's using a wand and a focus. It's not using a shield. So be aware of that. You are putting emeralds in your weapon, or you're putting sapphires, I think is the other choice for crowd controlled enemies. You're not using rubies here. Rubies don't do nothing. You can take diamonds, but why would you? It doesn't matter. Now, aspect of Hungry Blood is bugged on, or not bugged, but not updated on the D4 Builds website, but everything else is, so I just wanted to make sure that it's here. This build is on the website. Hungry Blood in weapon. Critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, intelligence, and core skill damage are all things that we're going to take here. Now, you can take, instead of core skill damage, you take damage to CC'd targets. Can work because, again, that interacts with Bone Spirit, which is a big burst of damage, but I like core skill damage here. Now, you see here, Again, not an overpower build, but still a Bloodlance build that is based around what is currently meta in terms of how damage works. So keep that in mind. When you're running like a Bone Spear build, you wouldn't have to change that much to get to being able to do this build as well. So throw Bone Spear in the dumpster because it's super boring anyway. But we're taking Aspect of Grasping Veins on Amulet, and the importance here is getting the max roll Grasping Veins is 30% crit strike chance and 60% crit strike damage. Amazing for this build. Fast Blood aspect. Essence cost reduction, ranks of Coalesce Blood, ranks of Macabre skills, total armor, movement speed is also an option in exchange for any of these. Movement speed, I think, is immense on Necromancer. It's almost must take. Fast Blood aspect. We are shooting out blood waves constantly. We are reducing the cooldown of blood wave as much as we can. And with the blood orbs, then being able to reduce the cooldown of the ultimate to create 9 more orbs, to create 9 more lances. This is what we're looking for. We're creating as many lances as humanly possible at all times. Just keep spamming them lances. Okay. Crit strike, lucky hit, vulnerable, crit strike damage. You're probably not going to get the perfect ring, but it's worth looking for. Make sure you do get crit strike and lucky hit. Those are the really important things on your ring right now. Again, aspect of Potent Blood, restoring essence when you are at max. This is why I like Temerity. This is why I like the blood orbs. This is why I think that this build really works. Crit strike, lucky hit, vuln, crit strike damage, ideally. And then we're looking at our focus. Again, I'm using a focus here. Bloodlance will consume blood orbs. For Gore Quills, this is the creme de la creme of why this build works. You can change this into your next slot, which would make it a 75% blood lance for every lance you create. Now, it works, but I vote Grasping Veins for more consistency with your crits and how often your Sacrilegious is using Corpse Tendrils. So, onward. Armor, max life. I know I said emeralds, weapons. Emeralds would be in the weapons. Amulet or whatever, doesn't really matter. This just is Sacrilegious. Sacrilegious in your Vicious slot. I would like you to have a Brutal Heart slot for the damage reduction, and Macabre skills happen pretty often. This procs with your Bone Spirit being created. It is a Macabre skill, so make sure you have something like this and you're just like AoEing. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Anyways, the Great Feast. I think that this build has enough juice in the tank to be able to run something like Great Feast in the end game, in the very, very end game, to maximize the amount of damage we can put out. Now, if you are not going to take Great Feast, you can then take Tempting Fate, where you're doing increased crit strike damage, but your normal hits do less. You're going to have like 80% crit strike chance with this build, so that is an option. Let's get into the skills. This, again, is full endgame build. Until you get to this point, you could still use Hemorrhage instead of Decrepify, but I am taking Decrepify. Bloodlance, Blood Mist, Blood Wave, Corpse Tendies with Vulnerable. Late game. For single target. I want to clarify this. For single target late game. If you are clearing waves, it's always going to be more damage by having the Blood Orbs aspect on Corpse Tendril. So. Corpse Explosion actually works here because you are not going into overpowered damage. So Corpse Explosion actually gets the full benefit of all the damage that you're doing. So it helps a lot for Essence. And if you got a bunch of corpses, you're just firing off Corpse Explosions, they actually do good damage. So, sacrificing for crit chance, sacrificing for vuln damage. If you do not have the Corpse Tendies with Vulnerable, it's not easy to keep up your Vulnerable. Your burst windows kind of are a lot different. You can go into the bone sacrifice, but in general, corpse tendies with vulnerable is pretty fun. And then iron golem for increased crit strike damage. You are a crit build. That's what we're doing. Down here in this D4 builds, I'll have it down below. It will have all of the information you're looking for in an easy, readable format. Let's go to the skill tree. So this again is late game. If you're not in late game, you're just leveling this up, and Initiate's hemorrhage is a take here. So 2 in a hemorrhage, 3 into blood lance. Try and get imperfectly balanced later on. You don't need it that early, but we're going to be stacking a lot of blood lance ranks here. Hued flesh also really good. Corpse explosion going all the way to that track is amazing. Blood mist to create corpses when we need them, awesome. Grim harvest and fueled by death, both good takes. Death's reach is really, really strong if you have the extra points for it, but amplify damage is constant increased damage for the end game build, and you are going to take Decrepify to the 3rd. Now, this is where it gets weird from normal blood builds. You are not taking Tides of Blood. You are not taking Drain Vitality. You are maximizing your damage. Now, I'm taking Coalesce Blood at 3 because when your healthy blood skills do 18% increased damage, that's awesome, cool, beans, but otherwise, eh. Another thing I didn't get a chance to say on the necklace, there is a way on your amulet, you could get increased ranks of amplified damage, which does work as well. It will work for your entire build rather than just isolated lances. But to continue, corpse tendies with vulnerable. Corpse tendies can also go to blood orb just fine because you are creating a lot of blood orbs. Again, end game. This is end game. Taking 3 ranks into bone spirit so that you can get your dreadful bone spirit creating essence for yourself. I think that this is mandatory. Again, you're creating too many blood orbs for blood artisan curious to not be insane. Blood wave, blood orbs. Inspiring leader. Attack speed is wonderful. You're healthy a lot. Standalone, Memento Mori. You can actually move Thrasma's Vigor into Ossified Essence because this build is crazy, and you're not. Who cares about overpower? It doesn't really matter. So I do still take Thrasma's Vigor for specific reasons. The max health, getting extra defense is always good, and Ossified Essence only works on your bone spirits. Still rips though. All right, let's move on to the Paragon board. We've got everything set up. This is my own making of this board, and I'm pretty proud of it. So let's check it out. First, we're starting off with Blood Drinker. You don't have to take a lot of these extra nodes. These are for late game once you are complete. What you want to do is just make sure that you're activating the additional bonus to make sure that your blood orbs fortify you, because that's a constant. And then later on, when you have filled out the board completely, you're going to take some more nodes here. So, again, to note, everything that is in the Paragon board will activate with this build because it's taking crit, strike, and vulnerable damage. So, Blood Begets Blood works with this build. So we go up to Blood Begets Blood. We can take this overpowered damage. Again, I take the Rathma's Vigor just for some extra some crit hits that can actually do a lot of damage. Now, we're moving back up here, and we're taking Imbiber. Now, Imbiber can actually be transferred out for Essence early, Exploit early, Gravekeeper early, Sacrificial. It can be Amplify, Control. You want to have Amplify and Control max anyway, because they are really, really strong with this build. Okay? So, Amplify and Control, you can move this around. But I like Imbiber here personally. Now, this is, again, at your discretion, because you can move points around here and get some other stuff that you feel is more higher damage. Control is going to be higher damage for killing random mobs because you can CC them. Amplify for boss killing if you're taking Decrepify. Stuff like that. So just things to note. Anyways. Moving out the left, we are going into Flesh Eater. Taking Flesh Eater, of course, because we actually get that. And with Sacrilegious being as awesome as it is, we get so much uptime of Flesh Eater. So, taking these increased crit strike damage. We're going over into get essence here. We're taking more crit here. We're taking nearly this full area for tons of crit strike damage and crit strike when monsters aren't healthy. Stuff like that. It's so crazy that this actually works for Bloodlands. More crit strike damage, getting some max life, also going in. So Scent of Death, all of this works with this build. So it's when no corpses are nearby, you're doing 15% increased damage. When you're throwing a blood wave to start a fight, you're getting that 15% increased damage. So going down here, more crit strike damage, healthy damage, damage against injured, more armor. Sacrificial here, really strong. You only have to take the 40 intelligence, which is really easy to get, and move out of the board quickly without wasting points in other areas you don't need. I do have one extra solitary point left over. I would probably put in that armor. Anyways, moving out to the left, getting the essence on kill finally. I know this is a really frustrating thing that is hard to get at the very end, but this is the only place I really have for it. So Bone Graft, getting the essence on kill, and taking exploit here. So finally getting that increased vulnerable damage. This board is a little bit malleable, up to you, but I feel like it's pretty airtight right now. And I think it works so well with how this build works. Thank you guys for tuning into this build video. I'm really hoping that you just enjoy all of what this build is. Follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be playing this version of this build. I will be going to kill Uber Lilith. I will be PvPing with it. I want it to work so goddamn bad. So I'm going to try and make it work for all of us so we can enjoy a really cool Bloodlands build that works in PvP, PvE, wave clear, all this shit. I think this thing is like insane. It's so fun to play. Highly recommend. Again, twitch.tv/DJ Montague. Like, comment, subscribe below, all that stuff. We could talk about the finer points of Paragons down below. Make sure you're commenting with your version of blood builds, because I want to see more blood builds come up. I'm so tired of Bone Spear being the fucking meta for Necromancer. I want something cool, man. Let's do something cool. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you soon.
I'm not ready yet.
Please? Please just die? Good lord. Worst event in the game is Wayward Soul. Highly possible. Very probable.
I'm not ready yet.
I could have died there. I risked it too. Noise! Listen, sir. Let me double check these points. Yep. Cool.
I need more time.
Oh yeah. Okay. Please don't one-shot me or something stupid. No. I mean, I did okay damage. Cool. 2 times. 2 times.